In this video, I'm going to give you 3 clear steps to implement so that you can dissolve feeling anxious about the future. Let's go. Okay, número uno, why are we feeling anxious? Usually we feel anxious about the future, but there could also be indicators on our present reality that makes us feel anxious. And when we feel anxious, 2 things are usually happening. One, we have a very clear expectation that it's not being met, or that we are afraid will not be met, or we are controlling. We are already trying to maneuver, change, or manipulate either people or circumstances so that that expectation can be met. When we're doing these 2 things, what's happening is that we're not trusting. So anxiousness links directly to lack of trust. And this is really important to understand. What are we not trusting? Well, we're either not trusting ourselves, meaning our capability, our desires, our availability to do the things that other people maybe are demanding of us, or we are demanding of us. We may not be trusting other people. So we might not be trusting that other people are able to do what we want them to do, or what they say they're going to do. Or we might not be trusting just life, the universe, God, right? That love intelligence that it's governing everything. We don't trust that it's for us. In reality, we just think we're here by ourselves. And if I don't do anything, nothing is going to work out. So it could be the 3 of those trusts lacking all at the same time, or it could be that one is lacking more than the other. But the most important part about this first step is making that connection. Oh, there's lack of trust happening. Número 2, now that we know everything is about trust, the question is, how do I trust then? How do I strengthen that muscle? Okay, this is the big question here. Now, I want to do a little parenthesis here and tell you to be very patient. Most of us have a lack of trust because we went through either a traumatic situation when we were children. We were raised in specific scenarios where we felt abandoned or humiliated or judged or rejected. This is very common. And so a lot of us have had a lot of challenge to build that muscle back, to really trust. And that is because we weren't either seen, we weren't connected with, or we weren't empathized with. And that is because our parents usually weren't, given that either. And then it just goes back and back. But that doesn't mean that we can't change all that. Just being aware and knowing that that's where it all comes from, it's already half of the healing process that we're talking about here. Okay? Close parenthesis. Okay, so what do I do to start trusting? Okay, the first thing is to understand that those 3 trusts that I told you are connected. So my suggestion is always to start with the biggest one, which is to trust life. In order to trust life, we need to start committing into rituals to connect with our inner guidance, to really start embracing and nurturing the relationship with our intuition, with that wisdom that is within us. And that needs to happen daily by meditating every day, or reading every day, or journaling every day. But having your space with your inner wisdom, with God, with the universe every day, that conversation, just like any type of relationship, right? When you nurture it, it's going to expand and expand and expand. Whatever works for you here, there's not a one formula fits all, because we all connect in different ways, especially if this is something that we're starting to do on our own. When we start doing that, what we do is we start building a new parent within us. So what we want to do is create that inner voice that resembles the parent that we ideally want to have. And we substitute that inner dialogue for the current inner critic that we have all the time running our minds, right? So that we can have that beautiful, softer voice that says, hey, how are you feeling? I'm here to support you. And we have that conversation going on daily. After you do that, then the trust in yourself, it's linked to that beginning, that connection that we already begun, right? Now I trust myself to build reputation. You need to build a better record for yourself. So that means, oh, okay, how can I, with my shortcomings and the good things that I have, doesn't matter if you're not consistent person, if you're not the perfect person that does great routines. What matters is that however you are right now, even with your consistencies, is that you find a way to connect with that inner wisdom. And in that way, you're also building a good reputation for yourself. When you have those two trusts together, then the third trust, which is trusting other people, don't really matter so much. Because even if they're not showing up to your standards, you understand that there is a bigger plan that you might not see right now, but that you trust. And so your happiness, your satisfaction, the meaning that you're creating in your life is not really dependent on how people act. And you're more conscious about how there is a divine plan and a divine order for those people too. So you're not the one to interfere with that, because however it is showing up in your reality, you're trusting that. Even if it's chaotic, even if it looks like a crisis, you trust because you are in alignment. And alignment is the last thing that I want to say here. What I mean about alignment is that what you're thinking, what you're doing, and what you're feeling, it's all in the same place, feeling cohesive, right? That integration, it's what's going to help with that inner trust, right? Because if I wake up every morning and I get into a dialogue with my inner wisdom about how do I feel and what I want to do, and then at 3 o'clock I completely do something different, there is a process there to realign throughout the whole day. Oh, I forgive myself, I bring myself back. I forgive myself, I bring myself back. But being gentle with yourself with that dialogue of that inner parents that I talked about. So it's an abstract process, but there's a lot of little tips here and there that you can start implementing right now for step 2. Número 3. Trust is very linked as well with faith, right? Because trust means going through the uncertainty, that black tunnel where you cannot see the light yet. And so you don't know how long is it going to take, you don't know how it's going to look, and you don't really know anything about your way out of that tunnel. But you do know, you do have the feeling of, I am here exactly where I need to be. Okay, so when in your life have you felt like that you were uncertain in everything, but there was no other option because you knew that that's exactly where you needed to be? Like you knew that you needed to quit that job and you did. You knew you needed to move to that country and you did. Or you knew you needed to ask this person or show up at this time. Or you kind of knew it, although you had no guarantees. That's the space that you want to be in. And how opposite is that space from anxiousness, right? From controlling. Can you feel this? The difference is so different. So ultimately that faith and that trust comes from knowing inwardly that you as a human being, as a creation, as part of this life, you are made by the same intelligence that the stars are made, that the same power and magic that makes an embryo become a baby, that same intelligence made you. That same intelligence breathed through you. So if there's so much divine order in all of that, how could there ever be a mistake in everything that's happening to you? And so that faith and that trust comes from that inner realization. And it's important that we remember that when we're feeling anxious. And whatever tool helps you remember that, bring your attention back to that, that is going to be helpful for you. Now, I want to end with a couple questions that are going to help you because I know this can feel challenging. Viktor Frankl, who survived concentration camp based on this principle, said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. So here is my question, and you can use this question as a prompt for journaling. Is there anything within me that I can change or let go so that I can align with this current situation? especially change in expectation and let go of controlling so that I can align with this current situation. What quality in me is trying to emerge as an opportunity from this situation? Can I embody that quality right now? That might be patience, that might be tolerance, that might be forgiveness. What quality in me is trying to emerge? That might be creativity, that might be humbleness, that might be kindness, that might be communication. And last question, am I listening to my intuition or am I listening to my ego? Okay, I hope breaking down anxiousness about the future in these 3 important points helped you out, and I hope that you also use the question prompts to help you go back to that inner wisdom. I'll see you in my next video.